Hey, we're going to take a look at another B-side, Beatles, B-side of their second single. This is Ask Me Why. That was the back side of Please Please Me, which was their second big tune and their first #1 hit. This is a song this was also on the same, it came out on the same album, on Please Please Me, back in 1963 for the, in the UK. None of this showed up till a little bit later in the United States. June of that year when things started leaking through. But we're going to take a look at, and this is a Lennon tune that really he was probably kind of channeling Motown, Smokey Robinson with the harmonies and even with the vocal harmonies, and kind of even with the chord progression, some unusual things. And this is a good example of the kinds of things we hear in Beatles tunes that you don't hear very often. Recognize that chord? Yeah, augmented. We hear them here. And we hear some secondary dominance. And of course, like in just about every Beatles tune, we need some bar chords. This one's in the key of E, so most of the chords are in the key of E, but he uses a few chords outside the box. We use a minor chord on 4, we use a major chord on 2 that is really a secondary dominant, and that's typical, again, of unusual Beatles progressions. You could learn a lot about songwriting by getting used to using some of the things that you hear in these tunes. Now it opens up with kind of a little bass part and a little kind of lead-in that George plays with these partial chords before it heads up to a G-sharp minor chord. So we'll talk about that there's really only going to be one other segment to this. I'll just break down the progression because there's not a lot of details that we have to go into here, but really just some chords and the progression and the chart. And we really just have a couple of sections, a verse, a chorus, and what I'm calling a pre-chorus, because the chorus is kind of split into two parts where one set of 2 lines, I'm calling it the pre-chorus because it happens really before the chorus, and then the chorus is another kind of 2 lines, but sometimes we hear them in different orders. So the biggest thing is this little, the little lead-in kind of leads us to F-sharp minor, to G-sharp minor chords when they happen. So you just kind of listen to it and figure out what's going on. So coming up, the progression and arrangement to Ask Me Why.